Hello everyone and welcome back to PAX and Recreation and no playmat, so you know what that means is recreation time. And today we're going to merge two fantastic things, which is figures and Dragon Ball. And one less fantastic thing, which is the pain that I feel in my wallet. But why I say that? Because we are reviewing not one, not two, not three, not four, to the point that these things don't even fit in here, not five, not six, but seven. Seven gigantic Ichibansho figures from Bram Presto, which sadly, for better or worse, this video was not sponsored. I wish it was. Damn, this is painful. The only reason why this is not painful is because, well, this is gonna live in my here in the bat cave and look very nice for me to gush over them. But yeah, so this is all the collection. Ichibansho versus Omnibus Ultimate. So the names are kind of weird, and to be fair, which I don't mind because, you know, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remix. But Japanese normally have these crazy names that I love. And it's the same case for this versus Omnibus Ultimate, which I get it. There is versus Omnibus, and there are other lines of Ichibansho figures specifically for Dragon Ball. So Ichibansho figures, most of them are always mostly Masterlize or Masterlize. I don't know how you normally pronounce that, but it's stylized. So I guess it's master and stylized. So it's Masterlize, I guess. And yes, there is a key that looks like a Kingdom Hearts key. So even though Bandai Namco has nothing to do with Square Enix, which is the one that owns the rights to Kingdom Hearts. And the exception to this will be the Great Golden Ape figure, because this one is Soft Pix, which is a different sculpture and a different finishing that you will see. So this is Great Ape, Golden Ape, or Golden Great Ape Goku from Dragon Ball GT, which the box makes a point of telling us. So one thing that you will notice is that even if some things are retcon or, you know, are reused, such as Vegito, these things are like very clearly labeled as Dragon Ball Z. So like for whatever reason, they, contrary to other figures or to the Dragon Ball Super card game that uses Dragon Ball GT stuff or Dragon Ball Heroes stuff, but it's always branded as Dragon Ball Super, these figures don't. So it's 7 figures, and they kind of have a theme, but not really. So I guess we are going to do them in chronological order. I mean, there is no real theme here. If you look at this, so depending on how you want to look at this is either the first figure or the second one, chronologically. Why? Because we have Bardock here as well. Now, this is Bardock when he's facing Frieza before the planet Vegeta being destroyed. So either this is Son Goku when he's put into the capsule to be sent to planet Earth, or this is when he arrives at planet Earth. So that will make this scene before or after that one. So, and you can be like, well, he's naked, and, you know, we saw in the Broly movie that he had an armor. It's like, well, the Broly movie, and this is Dragon Ball Z. So in Dragon Ball Z movie, my boy was just naked, right? So Kakarot, that's everything we have here. So I guess let's start with the alpha of everything, Kakarot. And this is the order that we're going to do, right? We're going to spin the figures for you to see them as well as I go with this. I'm going to try to go into some detail and show you this cool stuff as well. And also, why not, gush about Dragon Ball. So first going to be Goku. Like, these figures are more or less in pairs. More or less. They are 7, so it's impossible to be in pairs. But it's like Kakarot and Bardock. So that's pre-Dragon Ball. Not even Dragon Ball Z, pre-Dragon Ball, period. Then you have, even though it says Dragon Ball Z, but I guess because they're using like the flashback that appears, because it got incorporated into the story, because as you know, Goku is not a I mean, Goku being an alien is a Dragon Ball Z thing. It wasn't in Dragon Ball, even though Dragon Ball Z is a division that's not only in the anime, not in the manga, but I digress. So we have this part. Then from the Majin Buu saga, we have, well, Majin Buu or Buhan, because it's Majin Buu with Gohan absorbed, as it's called here, with a very long name, Majin Buu Son Gohan absorbed, or Buhan, as the real ones call him. And the pair to this, I guess, is Super Vegito, which sadly is not in the Yosha pose, but like the I am Super Vegito pose, which is a different moment. And yes, they do make a point of calling him Super Vegito. And then we have Dragon Ball GT, and we have Goku Super Saiyan 3, or Super Saiyajin 3 in Kid Goku, and Baby Vegeta Phase 2, or as it's called, Super Baby 2. So I call him Baby Vegeta, but it is, I guess at this point it's more baby than Vegeta, so it is what it is. So you have this clash, that clash, and then Kakarot and his father for reasons, and then you have the Golden Great Ape, which we're going to leave for last because chronologically is the last moment in this majestic saga. So with that intro out of the way and all the boredom that I just exposed you to, let's start with the alpha, the beginning of everything. So Master Lice Plus, and by the way, when things that one learns with this, I guess, is that you have Master Lice and Master Lice Plus, and Master Lice Plus is normally when it's like not just a figure, but it's a figure or like two figures or a figure and something. So this is kind of the case here. Master Lice Plus, a fusion of masterful modeling, master and stylized beauty, stylized high quality figure series. So Kakarot product, this product in the box, actual size may change. I love that they have a point of saying like quantity 1 and all that, and you have all the angles of the figure here, right? So let's get right into it. As you may not know, these Ichibansho figures are basically, at one point, this thing was an Ichiban Kuji. So Ichiban Kujis are basically like lottery figures. You buy a ticket, maybe you get a figure for whatever the price of the ticket is, which is normally like $15, more or less. Or maybe you get a poster. So really it's like a best effort type of thing. And once those lottery figures are done and some time has passed, sometimes it's not a lot of time that passes, Bandai Namco just releases them for collectors that don't want to do the whole lottery thing, as Ichibansho instead of Ichiban Kuji. So some people don't like it, but as a person that doesn't like lottery at all, ironic because we do open packs in this channel, I know. But as I always say, just buy the singles if you want something in particular. I don't enjoy lotteries for the sake of, if I want something, I want that thing. That's why, buying packs is fun, but it's kind of a wasted effort. So let's see. Box out. Plastic here. And you can see why it's a Master Lice Plus, because, well, it's two figures. Goku is there separate, even if it's supposed to be inside the ship. And yes, I'm trying to open this as carefully as possible to avoid any sort of scratch to the figure. Very noisy, but it is what it is. At least it is protected. And here you have the Saiyan spaceship or space pod or whatever you want to call it, where Son Goku was sent to Earth. And sadly, it doesn't close. But I thought for a second it would because of how it sounded, but it doesn't close. And it smells very nice. Well, it smells plasticky but nice, which is cool. So this by itself will be a nice figure because, well, all ships are more or less the same. So this could be like Vegetas or Raditz or whatever. But this thing is pretty cool. I'm gonna see in a second. And here is the greatest, the myth, the legend, the savior, Son Goku. So nice little figure. There you go. That ass right there. And as usual, apparently we can't run away from this. There's always this line putting together the front and the back of Son Goku's hair. Nice sculpting, nice modeling right there. Like clean lines. Obviously, this is a thing, but by now, like if you collect like Dragon Ball figures, you're used to it. The separation in the legs is kind of a bother, but it is what it is, I guess. From this angle, which is where you're gonna see it most, it doesn't show, so that's cool. And you also have this base, which I guess is for the pod because it does dangle a little. So let me remove all the debris. So it does dangle a little bit. So because of that, there you have it. It doesn't move anymore, which is great. I'm going to do like a front-facing plane of these figures once we open them all, because otherwise the camera is going to be back and forth all the time. And here goes Son Goku. She's a lot smaller than I think, but it makes sense, right? Because these are adult-sized ships. Even if it's a ship for an adult, they are very squeezed in there. Like, this is a baby, and there is that, and maybe it was a kid-sized spaceship. But doesn't seem to be the case. It's pretty clear that it's like standard size for everyone. So the proportions are right, but like if Vegeta is small, so it's smaller. So I guess he can fit in here properly. But I don't know. It looks great, right? But the proportions, if you think about this for an adult, the proportions of the ship are weird. But it looks pretty cool. So let me just put it here to the side. Again, you will see it spinning, maybe as we speak. And I will show you these all in detail as I go figure by figure. Now, either before he put Kakarot to be sent to Earth, or that was Goku once he reached Earth. So it's really up to you. One will say, some people do confuse something, by the way. I know what you're thinking. Some people may be thinking, he's sleeping. So that Goku figure has to be when he was on planet Vegeta, right? Because when he was on Earth, he hit his head. And it's like, yes, but some people actually misremember that Goku hit his head after the fact. Like when Goku arrived on Earth, it wasn't like a crash landing or anything. It was a pretty normal landing. Then, at some point where Grandpa Gohan was like carrying him around, he fell off and then he hit. But I forgot to show you the box, I guess. Same format for all of them. It's a very cool, like not all Ichibansha figures have the same format, but these ones have like somewhat repeating format that the last figure collections for like 2024, I guess, have. And this one is pretty cool. It's pretty clear. Ichibansha figures are supposed to be opened, so the boxes are pretty, but not that much, and they are not clear. So it's really clear that it's like, listen, if you want the figure, just open it and get the figure out. But the box is somewhat decent, which I appreciate. I do have a dilemma with this type of figures. Whenever the box is too pretty, if you collect anything, but mostly figures, and the box is too pretty, you do start to get doubts. Like, do I throw away the box? Because it doesn't seem like the box was meant to be thrown away. I know it sounds stupid, but really think about it. And whenever boxes have windows on them, like windows so that you can see the figure, that's when problems start arising. So a lot of figures, for example, that box to me is the ideal. It's like, listen, here's the figure. This is how it looks. It has a bunch of disclaimers of like, the actual size and colors of the figure may vary, blah, 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 which is reasonable. And then, but you have all the pictures of the figure, and the box is what it is, right? So, if you we'll see the figure in a second. Let me just remove everything. So, if you want the famous plastic bases, which I found out recently, by the way, that I don't like those plastic bases. And I found out that I'm alone on this as a person that has figures. I just figured out I'm alone on this. I was like, can you guys just please just give the figures like a black base? And apparently collectors don't like the black bases because it makes it a lot more difficult to like display figures next to each other, apparently. But I hate those things. They don't make any sense. I would prefer that the whatever it is that they put to hold them was more consistent, like, I don't know, dust or rocks or whatever. It's Dragon Ball, right? So there is this hole in there, which happily it is somewhat formatted, and this thing has to go in there in a specific way, which is cool, because if you are not... So rule number one of these things, don't force it. And in this case, it's very apparent. You can't even force it. So there you go. There is that. And this one goes to the right foot, I'm assuming. It's weird because he already has like transparent heels because he's supposed to be flying, right? In the middle of space. So it is what it is. But before I put the base, I will show you this in detail. So this is Bardock, Goku's father. The original Bardock, the one that was kind of mean, not the one from Dragon Ball Super that is kind of a good person and kind of destroys the whole point. So this is right before he's like going after Frieza. And then, yes, you are thinking like, oh, and then he becomes a Super Saiyan. It's like, well, that's not canon, apparently. But in the OVA, and later Toriyama kind of adapted to the manga, this was the thing. He was like he was about to fight with Frieza, and then Frieza obliterates him and the entire planet, and it is what it is. Then you have that like another OVA where like he goes back in time at that moment and fights Frieza's ancestor and becomes Super Saiyan. Therefore begins the legend of the legendary Super Saiyan, which then is not... He is not legendary Super Saiyan. It's another thing, another Saiyan called I don't remember the name. It's like from Dragon Ball Online or whatever. Like the legendary Super Saiyan is the most evasive thing. But in terms of sculpture, this one is a single piece, and you can tell like no weird connections, no weird fissures, no weird anything. Even the hair is good compared to the average Goku figure. Like there is no that division in the hair that is normally there. The connection between hair and whatnot is pretty clear too. Like it's not bad at all. It's pretty cool. Like, well, the hair has these sculpting issues that happen from time to time. It has some marks on it, but it's due to the materials. I think it's pretty cool. It doesn't have any obvious, gluing between parts. So this is actually pretty good. Ironically, I think that the worst part of the figure is the heels, which I guess is unavoidable, because one thing that I forgot to mention is that when you look at these figures, they have very specific poses on the box. Like, for example, Super Vegito is like this in an angle. And then when we see this figure, you will see that if you look at him frontally, he doesn't look that good. And the reason for that is because these figures are trying to recreate panels from the manga, most of the time at least, except Dragon Ball GT that doesn't, I guess, panels from the TV show. And they recreate the same position. So in the case of Bardock, they're trying to recreate this. Also, he was flying. Therefore, the heels. So obviously, he doesn't, like, he can stand on his own, and we will see this like front facing once we open all the figures. But it's a very dangerous business because, like, you move this a little bit and he starts dancing. You can take your chance, but let's say that there is a reason why this thing is there. So it doesn't look like that bad once you incorporate it. Actually, I will say that it incorporates pretty good compared to other things, but still, this is a thing, right? And now it's a lot more. Now the stick on the hand doesn't, it's apparent from some angles, but not from the main angle, which is what they want, right? See, like the main angle just hides it perfectly. So overall, it's a very good figure. I'm very surprised with this. You see all the texture, all the details, and all the sculpting here for the lines and whatnot. It's pretty good. And, it's Bardock. And Bardock is Bard ass. Jokes. So 2 figures out of 7. Let's continue. Now, as you may know, Buhan needs to come first because, well, it becomes Buhan. That's why there's no other option. And Goku and Vegeta need to fuse and become Vegito. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's like, oh, well, Goku tries to fuse with Gohan and then he lets his Potara ring fall off. And it's like, well, true. And then, we got the retcon that is like, because Gohan needs glasses, apparently. See, like, the boxes are pretty cool. But as I was saying, it's cool, but it's not cool. I need this box cool. And it doesn't have a window. Not having a window to me is great because figures with a window normally are boxes with a window for figures normally are a problem because if it has a window, technically it's for you to see the figure before you buy it, right? So you see the figure through the window, you're like, oh, the figure is good and whatnot, but you are never gonna see the figure fully. So anytime I have figures that want you to see them through the window, to me, sometimes that's the manufacturer saying, listen, this is for display in the box, right? Like that happens a lot with like the NECA or NECA, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. It's like the box is kind of the display for the figure. You can obviously remove the figure from the box, but if you keep it in the box, that's also kind of intended. So it's not, you're not like doing sacrilege or anything like that. With these ones, though, there is no debate. I mean, just open it. The box is whatever. If you want it for yourself, obviously, if it's like to sell or whatever. But there are other type of figures, though, that we're going to open some of those later, I guess, that the figure has a window. However, the figure is not clearly displayed through the window. Like, you will see through the window something like this, like a bunch of plastic protecting the figure and even like a plastic wrap over it. So like you can't really see the figure properly. So figures that do that, I don't see what the point is for the display. And when what you're thinking is like, what type of figures am I talking about? Like things like this that we're going to open later, I guess. Like, see, Misato Katsuragi from Evangelion or Evangelion, whatever you're going to say it. And it's like, it has a window. However, it's so full of protection and plastics that the window is for you kind of to see the dimensions of the figure and maybe some details, but you can't really see anything because it's so full of stuff, right? So it's like, listen, you're going to open it, you're going to set the figure free. Like the window is kind of making a disservice to this, but, I digress. Now, going back to Buhan, this iconic moment when Buhan is just like, listen, it is what it is. And yes, it is due to Gohan being an idiot, which is kind of the theme of this part of Dragon Ball, to be honest. To be honest, Gohan always had that issue, and in Superhero, they didn't fix it. And I think it's a problem that Japanese media has overall. Well, Japanese media, shonen, to be fair, because it's shonen. It's for young men. So, as you can see, Majin Buu looks pretty badass, very cocky, which makes sense because it just absorbed Ultimate Gohan. So Ultimate Gohan was already cocky, so this thing is beyond the scale in cockiness. Long hair thing. Very well sculpted, like to the point that it seems like it's interesting because you never think about this when you see the show, but like it looks almost like two figures because it's like, well, we're too used to seeing like the orange figures for like Goku and Gohan. The sculpting here is very good. You can even see some chipping on it, like which makes sense because it's metal technically, right? So very good over there, like some lines on the pants and whatnot. Again, clean figure, although Dragon Ball figures are perfected to the point that if there are any joints, well, not joints, like glue points, is normally done with the clothing so that you can't tell. And that seems to be the case. Like there is some connections maybe here that just align with the clothing, but I don't mind. They align with the clothing. Now, this line here, you can't run away from it. It is what it is. It's sad, but I guess that doing a single piece was kind of complicated. Even more, considering that the head doesn't seem to be a separate piece. Or maybe it is. I think it is. So, yeah, maybe they could have done like a head piece or whatever. But it is what it is. It's not that apparent. Like if you see like this, not that apparent. Obviously, if you do a close-up, but it is what it is. Other than that, it's very good sculpting and very good line work. A little bit of defects here and there, but this may vary. Like your experience may be different. And mine lost a shoe, which actually mine is broken, people. I just realized my figure is broken. I thought like, oh, maybe it unplugged. It's like, no, it's broken. So it is what it is. You saw it coming from the box. And why I know it's broken? Because there is that piece of plastic there. So I guess I will need to glue it. It's not that dramatic, but still, it does suck. It sucks a lot. At least, well, if something's gonna break, I'm glad it's just like the base under the feet and not like, the face or something like that. And this thing, I guess, just goes on any foot really, because maybe it's the other foot. If it's the other foot, then we suck at this, because this is precisely the foot that doesn't have the base in it. But don't tell me it's exactly this one. No, they are the same, right? Yeah, they are the same. I'm hoping it's not the same, because then we're not going to be able to spin this thing until I glue it. But maybe you can go in here. There you go, something like that. It more or less it holds. I don't like it when it has like this double thing. Like, what are we winning with this? Like, I understand if you're that type of collector, you're like, no, I like this. It's like, listen, if Bardock has those heels, which whatever, if you're gonna do like transparent things because it's flying, do them like this Majin Buu figure. Like these things are wide enough that on paper, and mind you, you're gonna move the camera later. On paper, he shouldn't need this, the mouth protector, right? Because I mean the heels are big. And as you can see, it kind of holds his weight. Now, you kind of put this as insurance, I guess, to a degree. And I am assuming that, Japan is like extra careful with these, because they do have a lot of, and I saw a documentary on these ones, like all the figures and all that. They do add extra stuff that sometimes you're like, well, it doesn't fall off easily, so what's the point? So, well, Japan has a lot of earthquakes, so I guess that's why they go like the extra mile with this type of thing. I don't know. Sadly, this thing is broken. So this is going to be, So this is going to be a difficult figure for us to manipulate now, but I'm going to put it quietly to the side. And let's see how it goes. Now, figure number 4, this thing is becoming longer than I was expecting, to be fair, but it's 7 figures for the same set. So what can we do, right? The other option is to do a single video for each of them, and both you and I know that you don't have the patience for me talking about Dragon Ball in 7 different videos and gushing over specific details of specific sagas. Or maybe you do, I don't know. Let me know. But what can we expect out of this? Well, the Super Vegito figure, I think that from all these figures, maybe with the exception of like the Kakarot one, like Baby Goku or Goku, I think this Super Vegito figure is likely the one to sell the best, because, well, it's Super Vegito, like everyone loves Vegito and Gogeta. However, the pose and the photos may not do justice to the figure. So, and you will see what I mean in a second. You see this figure like this, and you're like, oh, yeah, baby, let's go. Same for this. But here, it looks weird. And if you go online and try to buy the figure, if you ever have pictures from the figure, from the front of the figure, they do look weird. And the reason for that, as we touched in other figures that we opened in the past, links here or there or whatever, is that, well, they are trying to make it so it's like the panels or like like a screenshot from the show, right? Like same posing, same position. So you put it in the same angle, you achieve the exact same thing. Similar to what the developers from Arc System Works had to do when doing Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Fighters That game was praised for how amazingly it looks like the Dragon Ball series, and the reason for that is because they cheat the camera a lot. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. As you can see, the name of the game for this set, instead of Versus Omnibus Ultimate, should be named Versus Heels Ultimate, because Vegito also has heels. Now, it does come with a pillow for his hair. It's a very delicate hair. And it comes with a base. So another mouth protector type of base. At least it's transparent. Let me know what you prefer. I have doubts between transparent and non-transparent bases. But given the circumstances, I assume better to be transparent than to be like, sometimes they make them like red or something like that. It's like, man, I can't disguise a big red chunk of plastic, but here it is, Super Vegito. Look at that face. That face is right there on point. So if you do it in the same angle as the box, which is something like this, it looks right there, like just like the first time we saw him. Look at that. If you put it from the front, he looks kind of weird. Like his arms are weirdly long, or like they are too separated from his body, or like his shoulders are too wide or something like that, which, to be fair, a chunk of that is because of the clothing more than the body itself. But yeah, it looks weird that if the shoulder is here, so shoulder is here, chest is here, he looks kind of stretched out. He looks weird, like the clothes are too big for him. But to be fair, it's because of the angle effect. Like this is the angle that they're going for, not this angle. So this looks okay. This looks great, right? This is the angle that they're going for. Now, again, yes, it has floating heels in terms of a sculpture. Also, not a apparent division anywhere. Obviously, again, typical Dragon Ball figure, so the clothing is doing a lot of heavy lifting here with hiding connections and whatnot. Potara rings right there. Golden Potara rings, but it is what it is. And the hair is some of the best hair we've ever seen for Super Saiyan figures, which is great, because normally you can see like the chunks of hair, like it is like a bunch of bananas of sort, like you can say like boom, 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 boom. But here is like a single piece kind of glued to this head. And yes, his hair looks like pulled up, but that's by design because he's powering up, right? So same reason why the earrings are like that. And again, if you put it in this angle, it just looks pristine, my brother. So now it does go to is it right foot or left foot? I think technically all of them should be the same foot, but you never know. So there is Super Vegito. We're going to see him spinning and all that, so bear with me for a second. Let's put him here. Everyone is on their feet except for Majin Buu. Now, there is a debate here. Either it's Goku Super Saiyan 3 or Super Baby 2. Because they do fight with each other at this point. So just to not do Goku twice, because the last figure is Goku Great Ape, let's do Goku Super Saiyan 3. Or Goku Kid Super Saiyan 3. Actually, does it say here? It just says Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku GT. Which is like, okay. Things to note here. I think this is the first figure that I have from Goku in Dragon Ball GT, which is fun. I don't have a Goku Super Saiyan 4 figure. I've been hunting for one for a long time, like a good figure. I don't want just like any, like whatever figure. But funny enough, I have a Gogeta figure, but not a Goku Super Saiyan 4. And you could say that my gap in collecting all of Goku's transformations is Goku from Dragon Ball GT. So for better or worse, yes, I do have like a Super Saiyan God and a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan figures and an Ultra Instinct figure. Those were not very difficult to find because, well, Dragon Ball Super was everywhere not so long ago. But Dragon Ball GT, different story. I do feel that it's getting a lot of love due to the, Dragon Ball Daima and people just being nostalgic overall. So things like these are coming back. And this is my first Kid Goku figure or GT Goku figure. So plus, my favorite transformation is Super Saiyan 3, so you can imagine how stacked I am to open this. And this thing is pretty great, not gonna lie. Now, Golden Tail, which is, the whole thing why Dragon Ball GT is a thing. And again, all the connections, all the seams are very well hidden. Again, exactly, it's like under the clothing. Again, clothing in Dragon Ball figures plays a big part. But when it comes to hair, and trust me, I know a thing or two about Super Saiyan 3 figures, the hair is always tricky because, well, it's a bunch of bananas and they need to make it look good somehow. But from the front, this thing just looks great, and from the sides too. Now, this is tricky because Dragon Ball GT has no manga, so if they're going for anything, they're going for a specific moment in the animation. Which, to be fair, because I do realize that I opened the box too fast. To be fair, it kind of works from all sides because, it's like, and that's a significant difference from like Dragon Ball GT figures, from like Dragon Ball Z figures that try to emulate the manga, is that Dragon Ball GT has no manga, and therefore it's just like the 3D model of the character. It just works in any position. It's not the same with Dragon Ball, but this is supposed to be front-facing because, well, less creative posing, I guess. So there you have it, my boy. Now, does it stand on its own? Obviously no, because of the Super Saiyan 3 hair. No obvious glue points or connections there. You can see that, well, yes, these the different points of hair. You can see like that there is this first line of hair here and then this chunk, but it's not super duper apparent. See, like I guess at the point where it's more apparent is there, but it's very, very, very discreet and overall very cool. This thing is more or less flexible, and the figure is overall cool. Now, the base, I was about to say, is like, oh, it's two colors. Like, no, I'm just being dumb. It has a protection here, a piece of tape. And why? Because this base has a little dent there that is specifically for Super Saiyan 3 hair. When you put Goku like this, that's why that dent is there. So, and that's something that I always find funny about Super Saiyan 3 figures, that they all have to account for the hair in one way or the other because, well, it's heavy. See, the whole thing is there just to hold the hair, which is funny, but it is what it is. And now suddenly it holds. We're going to see it from facing in a moment. They are technically to a scale between them, but you will see that that's not true. That's not the case. Second to last is baby Vegeta, or baby super baby 2. Again, box, more same format, very sober, very elegant. I do have a feeling that I need to rewatch Dragon Ball GT, but I think that a lot of us Dragon Ball fans say that from time to time because of nostalgia. Dragon Ball GT has this nostalgia feeling to it that is difficult to describe. Like, for a lot of us, Dragon Ball GT was not only the end of Dragon Ball and likely has one of the best endings ever, because the ending of Dragon Ball GT is just... If you didn't cry with the ending of Dragon Ball GT, you have no soul, and you have no right to call yourself a Dragon Ball fan. But to be honest, what happens with the Dragon Ball GT is like peak 90s animation. The animation from Dragon Ball GT, I will argue, a lot of times is better than anything, or a lot of things, in Dragon Ball Z. Yes, for some weird reason, Goku has a tan, which... And there are some quirks and whatnot, but the music, the vibes, the whole thing is like Dragon Ball GT is like peak 90s Dragon Ball and peak 90s overall. So it just really screams nostalgia for a lot of people. Now, I do feel that, if you're like me and you suddenly are thinking like, man, I should call her. Like, I should totally rewatch Dragon Ball GT. You are going to very quickly realize why you haven't watched Dragon Ball GT in a while. And the reason for that, again, there's another big chunk of plastic. And the reason for that is Dragon Ball GT is not that good, my friend. When you have, well, this figure looks amazing. Maybe it's the gold and the colors, but this figure just pops. Damn, I'm going to see it in a second. When you see Dragon Ball GT, the first arcs, you're like, oh yeah, because they go look for the Dragon Balls. That's cool. It's like, it's just Pan getting kidnapped time and time again. It's not that different. Now, when Baby gets introduced, things got very cool very fast. Then they get a downgrade with Super 17 because they rushed that arc because they realized that no one cared. and then you have like the dark Dragon Balls, the evil dragons, which is a very good idea, but but it was felt kind of rushed too. And Omega Shenron, like, because the idea of like the evil dragons being born from like selfish wishes and whatnot from the history of Dragon Ball, it's a very good idea. I love it. The execution is just very bad. Now the baby figure, this again, it's not even trying to hide the I mean, it's like a single piece. You can even see like the paint is there. I mean, if it's a connection, it's a very well hidden connection. But since this is it has a single piece body, I guess that this will be a connection maybe. But it does look like a single piece. Very good sculpting overall. Look at that thing. Look at that face. This figure just pops, my friend. Look at here in the back, just shiny, pretty. Look at that hair. So yeah, in the hair you can see there's like two pieces there. There's a connection between this piece and that piece. But overall, it's just pristine, single piece of figure. This thing is amazing. Now for the leg support, I guess right foot again. Yep. I always get nervous with this because I feel like I want to scratch the figure. To their defense, they do like it feels like they did like sand the thing to call it somehow, so it's kind of smooth, but still. Now does it hold? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I don't think it holds on its own. Oh well, it does, but it feels like it's gonna dance. It doesn't dance that much. Not bad. I think it's the one that has the best balance out of all of this collection, to be honest. So overall, not bad. This collection does feel a little bit all over the place when it comes to like what moments from Dragon Ball it's speaking. Now, La Piece de la Resistance, which is the big boy, the big monkey, which is Great Golden Ape, Son Goku from Dragon Ball GT. So this is the moment before in Super Saiyan or Golden Ape dominates the Golden Ape and then becomes Super Saiyan 4. So sadly, they did all these moments. They went for the big monkey and they did a soft beaks line for this one, not even master lines. But they didn't include Super Saiyan 4 in the equation, which is sad, but it's what it is. It's not like this is like all the transformations from Goku's history. To be fair, Goku's here only twice. Vegito doesn't count, and Bardock is the same as him visually, but it's not Goku. So I guess not the same, but I would love to see it's like Goku through the ages or something. It's just like a collection of Ichibansho that is just like different transformations. More specifically, the moment that Goku reaches those transformations, I need to put it away from the camera because otherwise I can't open this. This box is so tall that, this thing is very heavy. To be fair, I never seen it in person. Some of the others I have seen in person before this video. Not all of them, though. But a lot of cardboard. This thing is very heavy, very cool. It's heavy to the point that the plastic dances on itself. See, like, I'm just gonna like because of the weight. Now, there's an art to these plastic packaging, by the way, that I think that people don't appreciate enough. These things are not only, they are glued, yes, with tape, but then they have like these handles for you to open them. Big, chunky piece of plastic for the monkey here. I love that is this blue thing here is doing nothing. My guess is that it's just here in blue as for you to not throw these away, because I've seen a lot of people just throwing this type of things away because they didn't realize that this is a piece of plastic. I guess that's why they put the blue plastic in there. And now, embrace monkey. So, big golden Ozaru. This thing is significantly heavy. Obviously, this thing is not a scale figure compared to the others, but it's very, very big. Now, it does feel different. Like soft Vix is a line that is like, well, soft Vix. It's not like soft, but all the figures that have some soft Vix, like it's kind of like hairy things with hair, so that you touch them as like vinyl or something, and it's like kind of soft or something along those lines. Here, I wouldn't say that's the case. Mind you, I am wearing gloves, but you know, the finishing is very, very good, like around the faces mostly, because the hair and whatnot is okay. It doesn't help that I've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza lately, so all I can think is Donkey Kong here. But around the face, the detail is great, right? He's ape, but and the hands too. Look at those hands. Look at the sculpture there. It's very good. Now, obviously, it is what it is, right? Like you can see like hands are like two pieces, but it's okay because it's hair. You can pretend, but for reasons that I guess you can imagine, it's not a single piece. They did try to disguise a little bit. For example, this union here, you can tell there's a union there, but it's not very apparent from a lot of angles because of how the arm is there. But this one is apparent from a lot of angles, sadly. So not super duper. Same with the legs. Like for some reason, this one is kind of less apparent. This is very much apparent. It doesn't really matter though, because if you see like this, like, it's like, you know, okay, I guess, but it is what it is. Now, ironically, from the back, this one is more noticeable than this one, but again, it's not like, you know, we're gonna hunt for details. Now, all the golden hair is kind of sculpted the same, and the tail is more or less wobbly, which scares me a little. Does it stand on its own? It does. So technically, it's more or less resistant. So technically, you don't need this thing. But if you did, how does it? Again, its ass. Oh, it seems like it. Yeah, it seems like it sits on this, which is weird. But embrace monkey. So I guess this thing goes like this. Yep, it goes like this. Which is kind of weird, but we'll show you in a second, and we'll see it as it spins. It looks kind of weird, but you know, I guess that's it. Well, maybe it's not like that. Well, it has to be like that. Yeah, it's like this, I think. I mean, this. Let's be honest, right? Like this is for the tail, and this is for something else. So if this is for the tail, the only fit that this thing has is this, because it's not like this. And sadly, it can be like this, because then what is this thing doing? So it doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel like anything. The only way that it can fit is something like this, which weird enough makes it kind of floaty, but I digress. So now let me move the camera, and we're going to see them front facing as I touch them a little bit. So this is the moment where the video gets funky, but you know, sometimes it's not about spinning the figure, it's about seeing them in real time. So I'm going to do like some camera magic. So here's my boy, right? Different format, different thing. You can see this is the problem that I'm having with my boy monkey here, is that I get it, but I don't get it, right? Like, and this has to be the way, because the tail goes here, I believe, I think. So, right, it has to be like this. Tail goes there, my boy goes there, figure looks cool. Kind of weird because it looks like it's sitting on something, but it is what it is. Now, as for the other boys, obviously they are not at scale. For example, Baby is bigger than the Ozaru, so it is what it is. But it looks pretty cool. It's supposed to be front facing, so this is the way that you will see it most of the time. As for Super Saiyan 3 Goku, my boy is there perfectly, looking great, looking beautiful. Obviously not at scale. And it's funny because they are not a scale with each other either. Like you could argue that maybe there's a scale between Goku and Baby Vegeta, but it's not. Or Vegeta, Super Baby 2 or whatever, but not really. So for my boy here, Vegito, this is the pose that you need to strike for him. Like in this angle, this is the right thing to do. So like front facing doesn't look bad, but doesn't hit the same, right? And if you put it in this way, it works, but it's obviously that this is the original sculpt intention, right? Like this is the whole thing. As you can see, the base is what it is. So not bad either. Now, next, here is Bardock, the father of Goku, or Goku. And, well, he holds himself decently enough, even though you need those two things. I do have to wonder, like, if you're gonna give me that and that, why just not give me like a single piece? Maybe there is someone that like glues figures to a table or something, so they don't need these, and that's why they separate the pieces. But I don't know. If you put it front facing as it's meant to be played, it does look cool. It looks amazing. If you put it on the side, it looks cool too, because the panel, the scene from the show is like this, specifically like this from above a little bit, because it's how Frieza is seeing him. From the side, like the finger covers that stick pretty much most of the time, but from this side you can't see the thing too much. So not bad. Overall, it's supposed to be front facing, but it looks cool. And second to last is my boy wonder here, Son Goku. See, with the base, no possibility for him falling. He doesn't move that much, even though the figure is just put in there, and it doesn't have anything to sit him inside. It's just like, it just works. Like the tail is doing some heavy lifting there very discreetly. So, some cool details and all that. So this figure is pretty cool overall. I like this figure. I think it's my favorite one of the bunch. And last but not least, Buhan, which because of things is not holding. So give me 1 second. Now I just put the base as is, right? So not back support or anything, and it just works. I do wish that if we're gonna do figures with heels because they are flying and whatnot, right? Like Super Vegito or Buhan or Bardock, maybe do them like Buhan. Like I don't feel like he needs that. To be fair, I think that he can support himself pretty well with this. Obviously, if you put that will be like a earthquake insurance, which I guess is the goal. But overall, I think he looks pretty cool. And if you look him a little bit from above, which is the intention, he looks pretty badass. And if you allow me for a second to zoom out to show you the boys, this is a very good looking collection. Now, is it worth it? Does it make sense? What about the details and all that? So, well, I'm going to be honest with you here for a second. Love it how this, we have an arm and we have all this cool setup, and then suddenly it transforms into like a vlog holding the camera, because Dragon Ball, I guess. So as a collection, it doesn't make much sense, right? Like if you're like a completionist or a collector or something, I guess if you want all of them, yes, sure, why not? But it's not like there is a story here. Like it's not like there is a connecting thread. What is the connecting thread? Goku, I guess, like from baby to Great Ape, the legend of the legendary Super Saiyan, like Bardock, his son, and then boom, 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 and then it becomes, because like Super Vegito is here, so it's not about Goku, right? Like you can be like, oh, but that's the strongest he ever was in Dragon Ball Z. It's like, well, not individually. That will be Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right? So it's weird. It's like a potpourri of different moments. It's like, well, that's the beginning of or pre-Dragon Ball. Then this is the Buu Saga, and this is Dragon Ball GT. It's like it's a collection of things that people don't like, I guess. But because this OVA was very well liked, so I don't understand. Now, if you buy it in sets, like for example, these two may be a set, but you can buy them independently pretty well. And these two may be a set, but you can buy them independently pretty well. Same as these. Like, overall, all these figures, they just work on their own. You don't need all the others. It's not like a matchmaker's case. I will say they just work. Now, opinions on which ones are the best and whatnot. Well, my humble opinion is that this figure is the best. Kakarot inside of the spaceship. This shit is amazing. This shit is great. This is the beginning of Dragon Ball. It's a lot of things. So this is my favorite figure. It's very robust out of all of this. And ironically, it's not the most expensive. The most expensive is that one. So very cool, right? If my preferences are here to play a part, the Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku is what it is, right? So I can't go wrong with my boy. But all of them are very well sculpted. Like, I guess that Bardock, the only thing, Bardock doesn't have the hairline in the middle like Goku has. So I guess the Bardock figure is pretty cool. The baby figure is pretty cool. I think that the weakest are Majin Buu or Buhan, Super Vegito, and Great Ape. Why? For different reasons. So Buhan, not because mine is broken, but because I'm not that petty, but Buhan has details like this connection here and whatnot that depending on the angle, it can break the immersion a little bit. And for this level, see, for example, here is great. This level, this side is amazing, but ironically, it's supposed to be displayed front facing. So it is what it is. And now I don't know if it's going to stand. Oh, it did. I put it again in there. So I think that detail is the one that is like, you know what I mean? It's like, plus I don't know how many people wants like a figure of Buhan. Mind you, is the most powerful that Majin Buu ever was, but yes, more powerful than Kid Buu. There is that misconception is like, oh, Kid Buu was the last form. Yeah, it wasn't the most powerful. Because he just dropped everyone that he absorbed before. Vegito is the best out of all of those, but it's weird because it's a figure that from the side, look at that, just looks straight from the manga, straight from the show. Shit looks amazing. You put it front facing and it just looks weird because of the proportions and whatnot. Like, looks amazing, looks weird. Looks amazing, looks weird. So it's weird. Maybe it's a me thing, let me know, but I don't know. And the Great Ape, it's not a bad figure, but I mean, it's so expensive compared to all the others. And yes, it's bigger, but it's not that big. I mean, it's heavier and it's chunkier, but it's not taller, a lot taller than all of them. And, of all the figures, the one that feels more like a toy is the Great Ape. And it's not because it's a great golden ape, it's because of how the arms are, the union points and all that. And then you need to put the base in his crotch, which it is what it is, I guess. It technically doesn't need it. It can stand its ground without it, but still weird. Compare that to Bardock or to Baby Vegeta or Vegeta, Super Vegeta 2 or Super Baby 2 or whatever it's called in the box. They don't have any apparent seams or unions. They just look freaking amazing. But, I mean, how many people would like that baby figure? I don't know. I love that figure. I think the detail on this figure is amazing. It just pops up. Look at this look at this. This looks amazing. But how many people are going to be like, oh yeah, I want to spend $70 on a baby figure, right? I don't know. Maybe you're like me and you like Dragon Ball and period. That's it. But who knows? So I don't know. Let me know down below. As depending on your country, these things go for 67, 70, maybe 80. The ape goes for like 100 or something. Obviously, this is like the same as with cars and whatnot. If you can find them cheaper than the recommended price, of course, most of the times, it's worth it. But if not, again, as a collection, I don't think you have to buy them all. It's not like they work with each other crazy. I think that all of them are trying to represent different things from different moments in Dragon Ball. Ironically, I do feel like Buhan and Baby kind of need a counterpart, but maybe that's a bias that I have against villains. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know which one is your favorite and which one you think looks cooler. And we'll see you next time when I need to open another amount of figures and ruin my life. But hey, Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball, right? So Dragon Ball is life. Let me know down below. Let me know if you like this type of content. And as usual, thanks for watching. Don't forget to do all the clickety links that I need to tell you about, because this is YouTube. Like and subscribe and all that. And I'll see you next time on Packs and Recreation. Bye.